Hi everyone, Noella Bell here, and welcome back to my channel where we talk all things art and design. Today we'll be discussing the key differences between the approaches and terms of art versus design. These two terms get used interchangeably, but they serve distinct purposes and have unique approaches. Let's break it down. First, let's talk about art. What defines art? Art is the expression or application of a human creative skill using their imagination. Typically, these are in forms of painting, sculpture, or even performance. Its primary purpose is to be appreciated for its beauty or depth. Art exists to provoke thought and emotion. It's not created to solve problems, and in fact, some art is created to be controversial, challenging social norms, or encouraging discourse. Art can be beautiful, ugly, raw, or polished, decorative, or minimalist. It doesn't have to serve a function other to make you think or feel. Think of Van Gogh's Starry Night. It wasn't created to fix anything, but rather transport you into a world of swirling, turbulent emotion. It's deeply personal and subjective. Now let's define design. Design, on the other hand, is about problem solving. It's aesthetically pleasing, but it's built around functionality and purpose. A designer's goal is to create solutions for a specific audience or problem. Whether we're talking about fashion, architecture, or digital interfaces, design is typically more objective, driven by goals like ease of use, efficiency, or communication. Design requires research, technical skill, and a deep understanding of the user. The iPhone, for instance, is a perfect example of design at its best. It's sleek, intuitive, and it solves a real need: communication and connectivity. The beauty of design lies in its ability to merge aesthetics with functionality. So now that we've looked at art and design, art being for the feel, for entertainment, and design for functionality, but beauty. So how do these differ in their processes? The process of art is personal. It's driven by intuition, inspiration, experience. It doesn't really require research, and it doesn't need feedback. Artists often create instinctively, reacting to things that they've experienced or things that they're feeling. The final product might evoke inspiration, or it might even be disturbing, but it's not bound by a specific function or audience expectation. Design, however, is a collaborative process, often relying on extensive research and a deep dive to the end needs of the user. Designers work with constraints, whether it's a budget, a deadline, or the expectation of the clients and/or audience. The result of that is something very functional, but also very aesthetically pleasing. Now let's look at how art and design are understood by their audience or user. Art speaks to the soul. It connects emotionally and often requires interpretation. Its value is subjective, and different people might experience different feelings looking at the same piece. Going back to that example of Van Gogh's Starry Night, someone might see chaos in that, while another person finds peace. And at the end of the day, art doesn't owe anyone an explanation, and that's part of the beauty of art. Design, by contrast, speaks directly to the user's needs. It's meant to be understood quickly and easily. When you pick up a Coca-Cola bottle, you don't need to interpret it. You know what it's for and how to use it. The audience for design not only expects something that's visually appealing, but something that's intuitively useful. So where do these two fields, art and design, overlap? Well, this is where it gets interesting. In fields like graphic design and illustration and fashion design, art and design are closely bound. Graphic design, for instance, uses artistic skill, composition, typography, but the goal is still to try to communicate a message or solve a problem, like branding or advertising. Fashion is another perfect example. High fashion often blurs the lines between art and design. Is it a couture gown or is it art? It's both. It's visually striking and often meant to provoke thought, but at the same time, It's still designed with the body and functionality in mind. Let's consider some examples of artist turned designer and vice versa. One example of an artist who transitioned into design is Takashi Murakami. Starting out as a fine artist known for his bold, colorful artwork inspired by traditional Japanese art, he has since created designs for big brands such as Louis Vuitton, making his mark on the world of fashion and design. His blend of pop art and commercial design has blurred the lines between art for the gallery and art for the runway. And on the other side, there's Tom Ford, who began his career as a fashion designer and now is also celebrated for his career as a filmmaker. His work in fashion has always had an artistic edge, pushing boundaries in terms of style and presentation. His move into filmmaking showcases how design thinking and aesthetic can translate into a more narrative, art-driven medium like film. So what's the takeaway? Art and design, though distinct, are very intertwined. Art provokes while design solves. Art reaches for emotions while design reaches for solutions. But in many fields, graphic design, fashion design, digital art, they overlap, blurring the lines between emotion and function. So what do you think? What is the difference between art and design? Can you be both an artist and a designer? Should you be both an artist and designer? Thank you for joining me in this thought discussion today. And if you like to have discussions or thought-provoking conversations like this, please like and subscribe to my video. Add a comment below to a subject that you'd like to talk about. See you next time.